Now let's go please to the first situation. This is the basic situation we come from. And now please, I go to the first situation A. Please, let's have 25% nominal tariff. Nominal means what's just declared. 25% nominal tariff in the furniture industry. So the state wanted to help to protect furniture industry. What does it mean? Now the price of the table is not 6,000. This is the world price, but you know that in the case of the tariff, the price is the world price plus the tariff. That means together 7,500 Czech crowns, 25% nominal tariff. The price of wood is the same. There was no tariff protection. It's again 4,000 Czech crowns. And look, value added was 2,000. Now it is 3,500 Czech crowns. What's the value added? That means that the producer of the table gets wood and must do some improvement to make the whole table, to color it somehow, to do something like that. And in the first case, he had to do it within 2,000 Czech crowns. They had to do everything as all other world producers. In the new situation, after the state help, after the state protection, they can do it within 3,500 Czech crowns. What's much better, much easier. So they have much weaker conditions now, right? So, and let's go to the effective tariff protection rate. What's our formula? And according to the formula, it's 3,500 minus 2,000 over 2,000 times 100. I know it is 75%. This is the result. This is the effective tariff protection rate. What does it mean, effective tariff protection rate? It means, look here, that the percentage increase of the value added is 75%. Now the domestic producers have much weaker conditions by 75%. So they don't have to produce as the world producers at value added 2,000. They must make the table and do the value added within 3,500 Czech crowns. Okay. Let's go to the second case, please.
Excuse me, can I have a question?
Yes.
So the number is 7,500. You got 3,500 by subtracting 7,500 minus 4,000. Is that correct?
3,500.
Yes.
This is the new value added after the tariff imposition.
And that was calculated how?
According to the formula. 3,500 is the difference.
Yeah, thank you.
You see it? Okay. Okay. Let's go to the B case. Let's have 25% nominal tariff furniture plus 20% wood industry, also nominal tariff in the wood industry. So what does it mean? It means that, again, the world price of the table is 6,000, but in this small economy, because of the tariff imposition, it's 7,500. 4,000 was the price, is the world price, is the world price, but in the small economy, there is the tariff protection. 20% is 1/5, that means 4,800, the price of the wood in the small economy after the tariff imposition. So, value added that was necessary to do with the wood, that means you have to make the whole table, to color it, to do some improvements with the wood to have the whole table. Used to be 2,000. Now it is 2,700. You can see again that the conditions are again weaker, so that the world producers must be able to produce the whole table within 2,000. Because of the tariff protection in this economy, it's necessary within 270. So let's go again. Let's do count 2,070 minus 2,000 over 2,000 times 100. It's 35%. And what is it? This is again the increase of the value added. The increase of the value added because of the tariff imposition. See? The final exercise is that why we are explaining it here. It is the situation C. Let's have now only 20% nominal tariff in the wood industry. Wood industry. What does it mean? There is no protection for furniture producers. So they must be able to produce, all domestic producers must be able to produce the table at the world price 6,000. But there is the protection from the state for the wood producers. So see it. Now you can see the very truly horrible situation for the domestic producers of the table. Why? Because the world producers are able to produce the whole table, and they are able it within 2,000. This is their value added in the world. But because there is a domestic tariff protection, the domestic producers have now the situation worse. Why? Because they must be able to do the whole table within 1,200. See? So,
but
yes?
I have a question. So basically, if the value added increases, then it's better for the producers, and if it decreases,
Yes.
it's worse for the producers?
Yes, yes. For the final, yes. Because, you know, he's now in the horrible situation. He must be able to produce the whole table at the world price. Otherwise, he goes bankrupt. But he gets the wood at higher price than the regular world producers. So let's go to calculate again the effective tariff protection rate. And you can see it's minus 40%. You see it? Because there is not the increase, there is the decrease in the value added. There is a decrease in the value added. You can see it. Okay. So, let's go to one exercise. I will give you the exercise, and I would like if you would do it here. Wait a minute. So please, the first exercise for you now, and I would like you to give me the result immediately. You should say what's the value added after the tariff imposition. If the value added, this is T, was 10,000 US dollars, and effective tariff protection rate was 50%. So have a look at the numbers and tell me please the result.
Isn't it 15,000?
Not 15. Yeah, sorry. Okay, you are right. 15, sorry. It wasn't necessary to count very complicated, you know, because I have showed you before that there was, for example, increase in the value added. I have told you this is 75%. So the question is what number increased by 50% is 15,000. You are right. Okay. So let's go to the second exercise. So now we will have the price of the motorbike. The price of the motorbike, the world price, it is 5,000 US dollars. And the price of parts for it is 4,000 US dollars. So you have two questions. There is 20% tariff for motorbike industry imports. Secondly, 20% for the parts. And you should set, or in both cases, effective tariff protection rate. Please use the formula. So I will wait a minute again. So what are your results in the first case?
20%?
In the first case, no. I will show you that. So
100%.
it should be 100%. Yes? So look here. I am doing A, or the first case. $5,000, and there was 20%. That means the new price in the domestic economy is $6,000. The parts are all the time for 4,000. So that means there is the difference. So you can see it. This is plus 100%. Or we can use the formula. It's 2,000 minus 1,000 over 1,000 times 100. And the first result, you are right, is 100%. Let's go to the...
Excuse me? Sorry.
Yes? Okay.
I want to ask, why does 4,000 doesn't change? The 4,000, why?
Yes, it didn't change because there is no tariff protection. you know? In this industry where they are producing parts, they have no tariff protection. So the price is the same.
But you read there are 20% of tariff of parts.
20% was here, tariff imposition here. You know, this is the nominal tariff. If you imagine the world price, there used to be the world price and there was 5,000, and now plus 20% tariff and you go up to 6,000. This is now the price of the motorbikes in a small economy, right?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So now the new value added is 2,000. You see it. So once again, according to the formula, 2,000 minus 1,000. I'm doing again the case. First case is 100%. Let's go to the second case. This time, there is the same world price of the motorbike, the same world price. But there is the tariff protection for parts. That means all imported parts, there was imposed tariff 20%. This 1/5, that means the new price of these parts is 4,800. So now, with the situation with the value added now, so the producers of motorbikes must be able to produce the whole motorbike only at $200 in comparison with the world producers. So you can see the situation is much harder. The situation is now much harder for the domestic producers.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry?
If you can repeat that, please.
Yes. In the second case, there is no protection for producers of motorbikes. So the price, the world price is 5,000. There is no protection, so the world price is 5,000. 4,000 used to be the price of parts. Now the state decided to protect the part industry. They are producing parts for the motorbike. So the new price after the tariff imposition is 4,800. That means the final producers, for the producer of their motorbike, there is the decrease in his value added. He must be able to produce the whole motorbike at for $200. That means his conditions are much worse, much worse.
But for the international producer or for the domestic producer?
For the domestic. For domestic.
Okay.
Yes. This is the situation of domestic producers. We are in a small economy. We cannot influence anything in the world. So let's calculate here effective tariff protection rate. And the result is minus 80%. That means that their value added decreased by 80%. You see it. So I would like to write the conclusion with you that effective tariff protection rate shows that it's very complicated, the imposed tariffs, because the industries are connected. Somehow somebody is supplier for some other industry and so on. So you can see here, for example, in this exercise that the state wanted to protect one industry, but it damaged the motorbike industry or the table industry. Yes. So this is the conclusion. We will exercise these exercises in the seminar, but I would like you to know it because it's necessary for your final test. So please, if you have any question, you can ask me now, please. If not, we can continue.
Yeah, but maybe can you explain again why is the domestic producers like worse, like have a worse situation than before? Because it's like counterproductive, right? Like if the state wanted to impose some tariffs, it should help them. So why it doesn't help? Why is the opposite effect?
Look, the state wanted to help to the industry which produces parts. You see it, but at the same time it damaged any other industry, the motorbike producer. It wasn't the intention of the state, but it happened. You can see it. In the first step, probably the state helped to these part producers, but if they are suppliers of this motorbike industry, and if the motorbike industry will go bankrupt, then also the producer of the parts will be damaged.
In the case that we have the tariff rates and then the value added changes from one product and another one, can it be the case that the tariff is imposed on both, like the parts and the product itself?
Yes, we have had it in the first case in the situation B. You can see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So let's go to the quota, please. You can see the graph. You have all graphs in the information system and INSYS, but you can draw it. I will wait a minute. This is again the graph with the same prices we used to have. So there is the price. I will wait a minute until you draw it. So let's go to the graph. You can see here the price 60. This is again the price when the economy was closed. This is the price in the small closed economy. You can see 60. There is the price 40. This is again the world price. This is the world price. And you can see here, you please find by, you can see, do you see the red line? Do you see the red line? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. This was a difference. What was imported if there was free economy? You understand it? If there was the free economy, you could import this red line. Imagine it is 1,000 products, 1,000 pieces, 1,000 products. And now the state says it's possible to import only 500 products. What's less? Once more. In case of the free trade, they were importing 1,000 products, and now they import only 500. Okay? So what's happening now? This is the quota. 500 is the quota. This is the shift of this line, right? This is by 500. You can see the quota here You can see the quota here. So the quota is 500. And what happened? There is a shortage in the market. There is the sorry. So there is a shortage in the market, 500 still, and this shortage will push up the price up to 50. Once more, there is no money collected by the state, as in case of the duty of the tariff. Once more, the import in case of the free market was 1,000 products. It's allowed to import only 500. So there is a shortage in the market. There is lack of products, and this lack of products will move the price up to 50, right? So the new price after the quota imposition is P inclusive PQ. So let's go to the next picture. I would like you to be so kind to draw again a chart. This is price. Draw a chart. All charts you have in your information system, so you can find it, but for now, please draw it. PD is the price 60 in the picture. This is the price in case of the closed small economy. This is the small closed economy, PD. PW is the price in the world economy. PK is the price after the quota imposition. So, you understand, these were prices 60, 50, 40.
Can you repeat again, please?
Right? PD is the price in the closed small economy without trade. PD is the price without trade in the closed economy.
Okay.
PW is the price, world price. You know that the small economy takes the world price. PK is the price after the quota imposition. Once more, you can see here the numbers. Look at the board. S1, D1, these are products imported in case of the open economy, in case of the free trade. You see it. This is the difference between demand and supply. It was imported in case of free trade, S1, D1. Now the state decided it's possible to import only, for example, 500 products. This was 1,000 free trade, and now we import only 500 products because of the quota. You can see 500 here. You can see it's as S2D2, S2D2 is the quota, S2D2. Right? And the curve, supply curve, moves by 500 to the right. This is the new supply curve, S plus K. And because there is still the shortage, the lack of products in the domestic market, it pushes up the price up. So from 40 to 50. What's happening here? Now, please, we will do the analysis by means of the consumer surplus and producer surplus. At first, have a look. Don't write anything. I will write together with you. You remember that the consumer surplus is the triangle between the price or vertical axis, between the vertical axis, price, and the supply curve. This is the area, this triangle. So you see there was this consumer surplus under the world price. But now the state imposed or allowed to import only 500 products, and the price increased to PK. Now you see that's all what consumer lost. You see it. A plus, we will write it together. A plus B plus C plus D. This lost consumer because there is a higher price in the market, in the domestic market. But not everything was lost. Something moved to domestic producers. What moved to domestic producers? You can see here. Because, before quota imposition, domestic producers, you can see, I will not draw it. Domestic producers, they had only small triangle between the price, supply curve, and vertical axis, and now they get the area A because the price is higher. What's better for producers? So I will try to write it on the board. Can you see the board, whiteboard?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay. So let's write. So A plus B plus C plus D is the consumer surplus loss again, because the consumer must pay 50. It's worse for him, he lost. A moved to producer surplus gain. And that's all. Because, you know, there is no money for state. We will explain it. Development of the infant industry. If you remember it, I have told you during the theories of the international trade that in some cases we are doing all these things to develop some new industry. Infant means developing, starting industry. I have given you the exercise that if I would decide to produce cars, so if I start now, the foreign competition totally destroys me. But if the state would want to help me and gives me the state protection, for some time I will be able to develop. The last point, an optimal tariff and terms of trade.
Excuse me.
Yes.
In the third point, it says increases employment and product in the short run. Do you mean production?
Yes, product, I mean production.
Okay, thank you very much.
GDP. The last point, the optimal tariff. This is the international factor movement. the international factor movement. So we can continue here. You can see the topic, international factor movement. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this the seminar?
This is the third topic, international factor movement.
And are we still doing the lecture or is this the seminar?
No, still lecture, international factor movement. We have lecture until 10:45, please, yes. So let's continue, please. You see international factor movement. This is our new topic number 3. Until now, we have talked about the international trade, and now we are going to talk about the international economics of labor movement. This is the first point that we will start from. And about the movement of capital across the boundary. And there is a third point. This is the development of the transnational corporations. It's also a kind of capital movement, but a special kind, you know. So we will talk about migration. This is the international labor movement, capital movement, and the transnational corporations development. So let's start with the migration. It's for us easiest. We are able to imagine it. I will go back to graphs, please. Yes. Okay. Please draw this chart. Please draw this chart. There you can see here the on the vertical axis wages, and on the horizontal axis there is the labor quantity. How many people, how many jobs I have. Please draw this chart. I will wait a minute for you and then I will explain everything. So the first point I would like to understand, there is still no migration. This is just one economy. MPL is the marginal product of labor. Marginal product of labor. Marginal product of labor. And this is the curve, the decreasing curve. This is the marginal product of labor. And you can see the point Z. Imagine that this economy has 1,000 people, 1,000 workers. OL, this is 1,000 workers, 1,000 workers, OL. And we are at our marginal product of labor curve in the, in the point Z. That means on the 1,000 workers and the marginal product of labor shows they will have the wage rate OW1. This is their wage, OW1. Right? So if we decrease the number of workers to 200, it will be only 1/5. For example, you can see that according to the marginal product of labor, their wage will be much higher because there will be not many people, so they will have not many workers, so they will have very high marginal product, or about here. You can see it if I will have only one. So if we will put one, for example, 500 more workers into the production, there will be more people in the at work, so their wage an hour will be lower. This is the first thing I would like to recognize. According to the marginal product of labor, we are, for example, here at the point Z, you can decide that they will have W1 wage rate. Now, please, the second point I would like to stress is the stretch area. The stretch area. This stretch area, this is GDP. The stretch area under the marginal product of labor, this hatched area is GDP. You know, so if there will be only 200 people in the production, the hatch area will be smaller. If there will be more than 1,000 people, we will hatch more under the curve. Right?
Excuse me, sorry.
Yes.
Which area is GDP?
Yes.
Which area is GDP?
This what is hatched here. This is GDP.
Oh, the whole area.
The whole area.
Oh, okay.
Everything here under the product. And if you have less people there, the GDP will be smaller. You see it. For example, only here finishing. Or if you will have more people here, GDP will be more. Right?
Okay.
And the third thing I would like you to know is that we are drawing this chart under the assumption we have only two factors of production, labor and capital. Labor and capital. That means that the whole GDP is divided between workers and the owners of capital. And you can see it again on my board. There is the rectangle wages. I have 1,000, for example, on the horizontal axis, 1,000 people at work, times 20,000, for example, their wage. That means this part, 1,000 times 20,000, will get workers from the whole GDP, and the rest will get the owners of capital. So please, these 3 points I would like to stress. There is still no migration. So at first, marginal product of labor shows wage rate at some quantity of people working. The area under the marginal product curve is the GDP. And this GDP, in case of 2 production factors, is divided between workers and the owners of capital. So let's go to the next picture. Please draw a chart of these this picture. I would like to remind you, look here. Marginal of product of labor number 1, you have seen. This picture you have seen. There is again the second economy. And this picture is here with the opposite orientation. That means it's also the decreasing marginal product of economy, but it's put on it from the right, if you understand the picture. Please draw a chart. And if you are finished with it, you can make a break until 11, please. Yes? So draw a chart and we will start seminar at 11.